Hey, what's up, guys? Iki2288 here, and welcome to another somewhat of a podcast with me, Iki. And right now, I just want to talk about, last Saturday because Spider-Man, No Way Home, and I really like the movie, but I'm just, I don't know, man. I just want to talk about that movie because it's it's just nostalgia fest, in my opinion. 20 years of history. And yeah, we're going to talk about that one. But first, I just want to say, and yeah, again, some others, when they do podcasts, they bring wine. I bring Emperador, so shot tayo, pare. Hold on. Chaser tubig. 'Cause, yeah, I don't have anything at the moment. There we go. Taas. Oh, damn. All right. Now, first up, I just want to say my next um, video is supposed to be this review of the SH Monster Arts Godzilla Ultima from the anime Godzilla. Singular point. This is one beefy boy right here. Yeah, but I have to rewrite the script or maybe I should do some changes on the script and then, you know, start shooting the video, which is easy in my opinion. But yeah, and yeah, for Christmas I bought. Yeah, I think I mentioned that in my previous vlog. Bought some toys for Christmas and all. By the way, Happy New Year. I know it's a little bit late for that, but it's better than nothing. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is Spider-Man: No Way Home. By the way, this one has spoilers, so if you haven't watched Spider-Man yet, please stop. Don't watch this video. Okay, so warning. All right. So we all know that it was supposed to be, uh, it was supposed to open on December 17th, but it was pushed back because MMFF, and a lot of people were pissed at it, especially to Tony and Alex's movie The Exorcist, and I watched the trailer and oh my god, I just want to kill myself. It sucks balls, to be honest, but there are some movies that are nice in MMFF. That one with Daniel Padilla, I forgot, but almost everyone in this country wanted to watch Spider-Man. That's what they are excited about, and they have to push it, and the whole world has already watched it, and we have to wait like 2 weeks. Um, but you know what? It's okay. What I did because I knew the tickets are gonna sell a quick. What I did was, yeah, I bought online. Now usually I watch at SM and Directors Club because comfy seats, but it was already sold out, so I had to book with the regular cinema. But you know what? It's okay. I mean, I watched in the regular cinema Godzilla, Deadpool 2. Um, yeah, there we go. Now, when I was so I booked the ticket and I waited for like a few weeks and then voila, Spider Man. Yeah, I had to bike because I was saving money. I only have like a couple of hundred pesos because my money was gone from all that Christmas shopping and birthday shopping. So yeah, I biked from here to Mega Mall. I was worried because I thought you need to print out the ticket, but when I was there, they just scanned it. It was easy. I thought I was gonna be late too because I wasn't registered to Mandalink yet. So when you're going to enter malls in Mandaluyong, you gotta have, or I think it's, or maybe most of the malls, especially Mega Mall, you have to register to Mandalink first. Good thing it was easy. Well, I had to, load up my phone because I don't have data. But once I was signing up, it was easy. I just have to link my Antipolo account to the Mandalink thing, and and it's good to go. Now, if you're gonna ask me, I live in Cainta, but how come I have the Antipolo logins? Well, it's because I had my first vaccine in Antipolo, and when you're going to enter malls in Antipolo, like when I went to Centro Mall, you gotta register first, and they use that data, my information, um, in that site, so I can register in Mandalink, and it was easy. And you know, when I was there, I was really excited. Too bad I can't bring food because quarantine. They gave the food late after the show, which was a souvenir. Anyways, so I was there, and a lot of people were excited. I helped I helped a couple take pictures with the cutout Spider-Man, and I promised them, hey, and I asked them, hey, I will take you a picture if you take me a picture. So I'm like, yeah, sure, sure, sure. So they did. Now I entered the cinema, right? And oh, forgot. Now I entered the cinema. I watched the trailers, and I was really giggling because I was so excited. And yeah, and then the movie starts. It was pure chaos because um, at the end of No Way, at the end of Far From Home, Peter was in a very shitty position because you know Mysterio framed him of killing him. Framed Spider-Man of killing Mysterio, and the opening of the movie was all chaos. There were funny moments, but that movie, in my opinion, is the ultimate fan service for Marvel fans, especially Spider-Man fans, because Matt Murdock was their lawyer. He went there, and I clapped my hands out really, really hard because I love Charlie Cox's portrayal of Daredevil. I mean, I've watched all the Daredevil uh, series on Netflix. It was a great show. Season 1 was great. Season 3 was back to classic Daredevil. And when I saw the villains coming, what do you call this, coming out, it just takes me back. You know, when I watched them in their respective movies. Doc Ock was there. He was asking Peter what did Peter did with his machine, the the sun powered machine thing. And Green Goblin went in there, Electro. I mean, first it was the Lizard, and then the Lizard came, and then Electro. And I'm having all these memories of when I watched them on set, when I first watched them. But the biggest impact was, of course, when the previous Spider-Man came to the scene. First, it was Andrew Garfield. I'm like, oh my god, it's Andrew Garfield. No homo, but I like his portrayal of Spider-Man. He was uh, his his version of Peter Parker when I watched the two Amazing Spider-Man films. He was, yeah, he was a geek, he was a nerd, but he wasn't a pushover. He will talk smack, and yeah, that's Andrew's portrayal of Spider-Man. He would talk smack while you're kicking his ass, and he was witty. And then the second portal came along, And then Tobey Maguire comes in. And yeah, he looks different now. He's 20 years older. Uh, but seeing Toby on the screen again in the Spider-Man movie, especially when he wore the when he wore the costume, it just brings me back to 2002 when I first watched Spider-Man, and I was 13 at the time. I was in high school, and I always dreamed of watching a live-action Spider-Man movie because growing up, I watched the animated series, I watched the 1960s cartoon, I watched Spider-Man 2099, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and I always dreamed of a live action Spider Man movie. And when Spider Man came along, in Tobey Maguire Spider Man 2002, and I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be epic. And it was epic. So seeing Tobey just brings me back to high school, simpler times. And the portrayal of Green Goblin's character by William Dafoe, he was he was, yeah, he was a force to be reckoned with. He was scary in in that movie. Like Peter couldn't do jack shit, and he's Spider Man, and Goblin knew he is stronger than Tom Holland's Spider Man. That's why if you watch the scene where they were fighting in the apartment, when Peter was in his primal instincts of just beating the shit out of Green Goblin, and I think the first punch, the second punch, there Green Goblin had that concern, but then the third punch from Tom Holland's Spider Man, he was just like smiling, like, "Yeah, I can take you." And then Peter was just bashing him with his hands, and he just power bomb him up to the what do you call this, down to the next floor. And I was like, "Shit!" Green Goblin was a menace. And Green Goblin is that scary, and for the first time, Peter Parker was fighting aggressively. Tom Holland's character, he was fighting aggressively, because if you watched Spider-Man, no way, what do you call this, Homecoming and Far From Home, he was always using or Civil War. He was always fighting his opponent's momentum, or he was using his opponent's momentum against them. He wasn't primal he's not primal when he fights. He's just he fights defensively. He's just trying to subdue the character. He's just trying to subdue his opponent. But when he was fighting the Goblin, Willem Dafoe's character, oh Jesus, he's just bashing his brain. He wants to bash his brains out. And then at that moment too, because of the Goblin, Aunt May died. Now it was sad, but I didn't had I didn't feel I didn't feel what do you call this? I didn't feel anything when she died, because I don't know. I think it was forced, in my opinion. I think it's just forced. Like there's no weight into it. Yeah, they were trying to set it up by by letting Aunt May help Green Goblin, and then Green Goblin killing her, so you feel there's a heavy burden. But for me, there wasn't. I don't know. It was just forced. It was quick. They want to use Aunt May's death as kind of like a redemption for Spider-Man. And yeah, going back to when the two Spider-Man came along, you know, they all have that they all have that burden, so they can be so they can do good things, because Spider-Man is a very tragic character. The tragedy that happened to them is what made them heroes in the first place. You know, in the comics, with great power comes great responsibility. When Uncle Ben died, Peter Parker, from being an arrogant from being a douche, because if you read Amazing Fantasy issue 15, yeah, he was a douche at first. He used his powers for fame and fortune. But when Uncle Ben died, yeah, he took responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. So Aunt May's death was used as as an edge to Tom Holland's Peter Spider Man. Same as Tobey Maguire when when Uncle Ben died, and same with Andrew Garfield Spider Man when Gwen died. They used now they have a common denominator, which is carrying a burden for them to be great, to be heroes, to do the right thing, to push through. I like their connection, by the way, their interaction. They're like brothers. And seeing them is like a dream come true. That's why that movie is the ultimate fan service. And I just like the way, they were freaking out that Toby has an organic web coming out of him, and they were like, "Oh, how did you do that?" And Toby was like, was very cringy about them. Like, dude, come on. And and the movie is so positive, in my opinion, that they really like. They don't want to. They just don't want to beat the bad guys. They really want to help them change, to be good again. You know, Curtis Connors. They made a cure for so he can go back to being a man from the lizard. Electro removing. They made a device to remove all that electricity from Electro. They made a serum for Goblin. They made a cure for Sandman's um powers, so he can go back to being a normal human being. And then Doctor Octopus, they try to fix his a chip that's installed to his neck, because the first one was fried. That's why his tentacles were controlling him instead of him controlling the tentacles. When Peter Parker, Tom Holland's character, made that chip, he was good. He was nice, and it's a good thing because at first Doctor Octopus wasn't a bad person. It's just that the tentacles took control of him, and I guess that's I guess I don't know about Venom, but most of Spider-Man's characters aren't. I mean, most of Spider-Man's villains in Tobey Maguire's, or other than Green Goblin, they're really tragic characters. Like, okay, so um, let's see. Yeah, Green Goblin. He was greedy. He was trying to save his company, so he had to test the serum himself. But he ended up being a madman. With the Green Goblin. Doctor Octopus. Yeah, he was trying to. Um, he was trying to perfect an experiment, which is the sun. What do you call this? The sun generator thingy, and you know it killed his wife, and it made him he went to a hospital because of it. But the tentacles took over, because the chip was fried. The chip was broken. Venom and Sandman, well, he was accidentally put into a machine and turned him into sand. And Eddie Brock, well, Eddie Brock was kind of a douche, I guess. He just wanted what do you call this, recognition, and a higher position, and he would do anything. And he'd step over Parker, and Parker came back, and accidentally he got the and by accident, or yeah, by accident or coincidence whatsoever, he got the Venom symbiote. And but the thing about Eddie Brock is, him and the symbiote have grudges against Peter Parker and Spider Man. And yeah, so going back with Spider Man, No Way Home, it was a good movie because it's 20 years in the making. It brought me back to my high school days when I watched the first Spider Man, and It took me back to when I watched, The Amazing Spider-Man. By the way, Andrew Garfield played Peter B. Parker. The depressed Peter Parker, in my opinion. Kind of sad though. Gwen died. I remember watching it. I almost want to cry. I almost cried. Yeah, I almost cried watching that movie. So bad. But the audience ruined. There were a bunch of kids in the cinema at that time. They were laughing at that moment, and a view and one of the and there were people that were near them got pissed, and they had to move to another spot, and I was like, fucking kids. Oh man, you know what I remember also when I watched Civil War, Captain America Civil War in Gateway. There are a bunch of kids, papansin, like making these noises during the trailers and talking while the movie was playing. Those people suck balls, man. They just want attention. Look at me, look at us, man. We're delinquents. We're making, we're breaking the rules because we want attention and we're trying to be cool. Get the fuck out of here, fuck ass, punk ass bitches. I mean, I do some crazy shit too, but fucking at least I'm the one who's going to look like an idiot, not other people. I'm not gonna or what do you call this? It's not gonna affect other people, but just me. I mean, I do crazy, stupid shit, but most of the time. But I will try my best that I'm the one who's going to be the butt of the joke, not other people. Yeah. Wow. Imperator kicking in. Ooh. Anyways, if you haven't watched Spider-Man yet, No Way Home, you should watch it. If you're a big Spider-Man fan, you have to watch it. Nostalgia trip. I mean, nostalgia and fan service. You know, they even put the Spider-Man memes there too. Yeah, and yeah, that's it. That's just no, I still have lots of things to talk about too. Like, God, I have a huge crush on Zendaya. Like, I have a friend who looks like Zendaya. I'm like, oh, just look at me, please. Heidi, you look like her. Hey, Nids. Hope you guys get well soon, so we can hang out. Miss you guys. Um, yeah, and oh man, Zendaya is pretty. I mean, Marisa Tomei is hot too, but Zendaya is just goddamn. Well, anyways, yeah, Zendaya is hot. I mean, of all the Spider-Man partners, love interests, yeah, the Kristen Dunst was pretty. Yeah, sure. Gwen Stacy, Emma Stone. Oof, yeah. Zendaya is just damn. You know, I don't know. She has this fighting spirit. That's why I like her character of Michelle Jones. And is it Michelle Jones? Yeah. Gwen Stacy. Yeah, she's a fighter too. Mary Jane's Kristen Dunst's Mary Jane. Oh Jesus Christ, the worst character ever. Like, how many times does she have to bring Peter down and then just get back to him? She even turned down John Jameson, J. Jonah Jameson's son. Like, they were gonna get married, and he got left in the altar, Ted Mosby style. You know why? Because she learned that Peter Parker Spider Man. Jesus. And yeah, I have a grudge on that one. I think she's a horrible character because, in Spider-Man 2, she was treating Peter badly, and then on Spider-Man 3, when the tables were turned, she was like, she became from um, the tables have turned. By the way, I'm just drunk. I can't concentrate. Oh shit! Can't concentrate. Well, I'm sorry. By the way, do you like my shirt? Oh yeah, hold on. And hold on. I think I just there we go. Yeah, still continuing. Anyways, sorry about that. Anyways, that's my grudge on Kirsten Dunst's character. Like, she only loves Peter when it's okay, when everything is fine. You know, reminds me of a certain person. My ex. It's the liquor talking, not me. I'm gonna take a shot. All right. I'm gonna edit this later. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. That's my grudge about Kirsten Dunst's character. She just loves Peter when it's okay. You know. Oh my god. Yeah. I wanted to buy a Spider-Man figure too. Like, there's this figure from Hasbro, the Spider-Man, the retro wave Spider-Man from the animated series from the 90s. I never got the toy when I was a kid, so I wanted to buy that shit. A few months ago, it was only okay when it first released. It was retail, and then after a few months, the prices went up, and then and then there was a second. They re-released the figure. Price went down, and from 1,800, and then a few months later to now, it became 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000. Like, Jesus H Christ. Mm. Oh boy. What's happening right now? Whatever. Anyways. Yeah, I watched Spider-Man, and it was awesome. It was scary too because it was COVID. It was the COVID season. This the cases were going high, and it's stupid. Like, a few months back, it was just 400. I thought it was gonna be okay. Right now, it's 30,000 per day. Like, what the fuck? Stupid, really. Jesus. Unless if you're vaccinated, it's just mild symptoms. But yeah, but some people don't want to get vaccine because hey, it's their choice. Anyways, and yeah, when I watched the movie, it was scary because again, but I was wearing my mask and it was okay. There were purifiers in the cinema, so it's safe. Social distancing, and the chairs were apart, so it was all good. But for those who haven't watched Spider Man yet on the first day, just wait for the torrent. It's safer, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, that's just about it. My name is Iki2288, and I'm a little bit drunk, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.